Tang, about Talk Sports. Fellow viewers, greetings to everyone. Another edition of Abakwa Talk Sports Champions League Final Preview 2025. Paris Saint-Germain versus Inter Milan. Greetings to you, big pundits. Mr. Taka, I salute you.
Thank you, Balak. So good to be here. So good to be back here to Abakwa Talk Sports.
Yeah, you're welcome. Ajab with the sauce, no brainer.
Yes, sir. How are you doing this fine evening?
Yeah, not too bad. The semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League gave us a classic this year, and I'm hoping the finals will be another classic. It's Paris Saint-Germain looking to be crowned champions for the very first time in the club's history, and Inter Milan will be hoping to get their fourth crown as European champions. Guys, let's dive into this discussion. To begin with, Mr. Taka, you go first. Who wins the trophy on May 31st, 2025?
Man, this final is a vibe clash. We had what an impressive semi-finals from both teams.
Yeah.
Inter, like I've watched Inter this season, and they look, especially in Champions League, they look like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
You know, tight lines, solid shape, no nonsense. Yes, they're a bit shaky when they take the lead. It's not very sexy, but efficient. So I love the way Lautaro is cooking. You know, I love the way Inzaghi's system just works. I lean towards Inter, but look at PSG. You know, PSG is like that kid that moved out of the parents' house. You know, they're finding their rhythm without Mbappe. The football is fluid. It's
Yeah.
brave. It's like, yo, we're a team now. We're not Mbappe FC. But my God is telling me that, you know what? Inter has experience. Inter has been here before. You know, and they barely lost. Like City barely won them in that final. Inter has this game. Inter has this game. Inter will win this. Inter will win this trophy.
Uh,
Inter will be champions. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
that's
think
my that's my God.
that's your take. That's your take.
That's my take. That's my take.
So if
Yes,
you were to put your money, you put your money on Inter.
I put him on Inter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
took one thing from your conversation experience. You said they've been here before. They might cook. I think Inter lost the final two years ago to Manchester City. That was
hmm
2023. Andre Onana was in goal, and I think they've only changed about 3 or 4 players from that same squad. The
yeah.
Dumfries, Bastoni, Asebi, and all those guys are there. We'll come to Inter later. But now, Ajab, what do you think? I think you have something otherwise, unless you're leaning towards Inter. Please shock me.
Yeah, no, I will just permit me to talk a little bit more than I'm supposed to. Let's say 2 minutes, max
Yeah,
2, 3 minutes. The
yeah,
reason being that I always had Inter as my dark horse for the tournament, even before the tournament started.
yeah,
Inter was most of us were talking about the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man City. No one was mentioning Inter Milan, but they were going by with the business, having a 1-0 wins, 2-1 wins, and at some point, I thought Inter was really good. Inter was good enough to take to be European champions. Um, if I had to put my money, let's say first week of April or mid-April, I'll put it on Inter. But now I'm leaning a little bit towards PSG because in the last month or so, let's say last 6 weeks or last 4 weeks,
yeah,
Inter has not been good defensively. And they've
yeah.
been giving away a lot of goals, which is unlike Inter Milan. Because if they say one word, if they ask you to say one word about Inter Milan, you're gonna say defensive. But in the last few months, both in the league and the Champions League, they've been giving away goals unlike they normally do. So I'm a little scared about Inter with a very pacey PSG up front and very energetic midfield. It might cause problems to Inter, especially the way Barcelona approached Inter Milan. Barcelona gave football fans and other teams the impression that you could score Inter if you push them even through crosses, which I thought was what the Frenchman call point for crosses and all that. But in Barcelona gave us the impression that you could attack them and score them. So, but another thing too is that Inter Milan has also given us another impression about football that if you're a fully defensive team that relies on low blocks, you could still score many goals because the only way you can beat Barcelona or eliminate Barcelona is by scoring many goals because Barcelona will always score you. So they gave us the impression that even though they sit back and defend, they could still score goals. So it's going to be a very exciting finals, which I'm not hoping to see one team dominant over the other, but I think I'm looking at PSG slightly winning, even though the experience of Inter Milan is something which we can't on the main bet. I just want to be the opposite side of Taka in this case, so I'll give it to PSG.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're watching right now, Mr. Taka went with Inter Milan and Mr. Ajab went with Paris. So if you are watching, please let's know where you are leaning in the comment section. Yeah. Just to note, Paris Saint-Germain was in the finals in 2020, I think against
Mhm.
Bayern Munich. They lost 1-0. And then 2 years after, Onana and Inter lost to Man City 1-0. In both finals, there was an overwhelming favorite. But what I'm thinking when I look at this final this year, I'm thinking it's kind of a 50-50 game.
Yeah, that's true.
Honestly, I don't have a say. Let the best man win. But now, let's look at the changes that have gone through these teams from the past finals that they lost. Inter Milan, they've changed. Like, let's start with Inter Milan. Just maybe like three people in the starting 11.
Yeah.
So Thuram has come in. He wasn't part of I think that team. And then there's one
Thuram,
guy, Thuram, and then the
Thuram,
Van Dijk, the defender.
yeah,
Yeah.
Achebi,
Achebi. Yeah.
and
So in
Zimarco.
yeah, in 2020 in 2022 when they lost the final, this guy Mkhitaryan was not starting because
Yes,
yeah, but the core of the team is still there with the coach. Exactly,
yeah.
that's what I'm trying to mean. So does that play a massive role in this final?
Yes. Massively. Like they sold Onana and they bought a new keeper,
Yeah,
Summer, 5 million.
yeah,
Better keeper, better shot stopper,
yeah,
more calmer, more command in the box.
yeah.
Yeah, I think see my main problem with PSG is the experience. These are kids. So the midfield, it's a new team, it's an exciting team. You have millions of people watching, coming into that game, a lot of pressure. How do they deal with that, right? With Iter's experienced defense, and you have these experienced midfielders. If they strangle down midfield, get a bit of control in there, it might frustrate them, and then Inter might win, right? I think like in the first half, Arsenal could have in the first leg of Arsenal versus PSG. Arsenal should have taken a chance with 3-0 up, but they didn't take it. And then Inter PSG came in and won the game, right? But yeah. Anyway, I think the experience of the team really counts. I think it really counts for Inter. That's why I'm really leaning towards them.
Okay, so Ajab, I'm gonna twist this question and send it back to you in another way. So now
Mhm.
Mbappe left for Madrid. Mbappe was the key of that Paris team that made it to the finals. So now it's a new coach, new team. How these guys are balling, Vitina in the midfield, these guys are balling. How does this new mentality help them get over the hump?
Again, I'm going to twist it a little bit. I talk a little bit about it there. Like
Yeah,
Taka, you mentioned something when you're asking the question to Taka, which is very important.
yeah,
The core of the Inter Milan team is still there. Even
yeah.
that's a very, very vital and important point. It means they've been together
You've
for at
been,
least 3 seasons. At
yeah,
least three
Mm.
seasons.
yeah,
So even if you're not that good, if you've been together for 3 seasons, then that's already an advantage.
yeah.
And there's something a lot of people don't see with Inzaghi doing. Even though Inter looks like a defensive-minded team, Inter plays without a holding midfielder.
Hmm.
Yeah. They play three at the back, and whoever plays in front of the back three, it's like a deep playmaker with who is the how the Kanaluglu?
Kanahuglu,
Yes.
yeah,
Kanahuglu,
yeah,
yeah.
Yes.
from Bayern
Yes.
Munich or Bayer Leverkusen,
Yeah,
something
he
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Leverkusen.
Yeah.
Leverkusen.
He left Leverkusen for AC Milan and then
Yeah,
came to Inter from
yeah,
AC Milan.
yeah.
But previously, when they played the finals against
Man
Man,
City.
they had Brozovic,
Yeah,
who was
Brozovic.
actually
Yes.
a holding midfielder. So
Yeah, yeah,
he's tweaked the way they play now. So people
yeah,
are looking at Inter as that defensive-minded team.
yeah.
But if you look at most teams that play with three at the back, they play with two holding midfielders.
What do we
Or
think?
Hmm.
one serious holding midfielder. But
Yeah,
Inter, they don't use a holding midfielder at all. So that's a very good thing about Inter. They're not just defensive as we think, as they look on paper. So let me go to PSG now. Yes. Mbappe left. PSG now is looking like a completely different team. PSG left, and who came in? Desiree Doué.
do it. Yep.
Because Gonzalo Ramos was last season with Mbappe.
Bracola too.
Bakula was last season too.
Yeah,
So the
Bracola.
only person who actually came in this season up front is Desiree Doué, who's a
Yep,
winger. And then they brought in Neves as
yep,
a midfielder to replace, is it Verratti?
yep.
Or who else? Someone.
Ugarte, I believe.
Ugarte. Thank
Yeah.
you, Ugarte. So if you look at the way both teams
Paris.
are playing, they don't have a natural holding midfielder. They have people who could play with the ball. So they don't mind. Both teams are going to come in. The only advantage Inter has is that when they're defending with five at the back, the wing backs and the three defenders.
Yeah.
While Vitina is like the holding midfielder in quotes. So what's going to happen? The midfield is going to take control. Whoever dominates the midfield will have an upper hand in this game.
Okay.
And you have some of the best wing backs versus
Yeah.
some of the best left backs and right backs.
Yeah.
Because you have
in
Martinez as
this
a
team.
right back and
Dumfries.
Mendes as a
Dumfries.
left back. You also
Yeah.
have Zimarco as a left wing back and
Yeah.
Dumfries as a right wing back.
Yeah.
Those four guys have been very exciting this season. So it's
Yeah.
really going to be an exciting encounter.
So
And then
technically, you're saying, sorry. Go ahead.
both teams have exceptional keepers so far this season. So it's really going to be, I don't know how I'm going to put it. The strike up front is a little shaky because Lautaro is not 100% fit.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to be fit by then. Thuram is good as a, how do they call it?
Supporting striker.
Hold up.
Or
Hold
up.
up.
Yeah.
Hold up striker. He
Yeah.
won't give you 20, 30 goals a season.
Yeah.
But it's like only Inzaghi knows how to use him. Because everyone says, I don't know how this guy made his way to Inter Milan, but he plays every game.
Yeah.
And I think he's top scorer in the league, not Champions League, in the league this season, while Lautaro is the Champions League top scorer. So it's really going to be an exciting game in the sense that I'm only hoping that PSG comes in knowing that, have that mindset that this is a final game, but just coming to win. Don't come to impress, thinking that you have a return game where you're going to win, because we know Enrique is someone who always wants to win beautifully. He doesn't go to a game to say, I just want to win. He wants to win beautifully. So that's where my worry is going to be. Inter doesn't mind winning ugly, but PSG will probably mind winning ugly. So that's where the problem is going to be.
Okay. You made mention of the midfield battle, and then you also made mention of the flanks. Technically, you're saying there's going to be soccer everywhere. There's going to be football.
Yes, there's going to be soccer everywhere. Because
that means we are set up for a thriller. Now,
because backline too, you also have Bastoni and Acerbi who have been doing very well. Yeah. And then the PSG, you have Marquinhos and Pacho too. So probably it's going to be a very exciting finals because each department in every team is solid.
Yeah. I can't wait. Allianz Arena, May 31st, guys.
Yeah.
It's time for popcorn. Now, you guys must have heard the rumors and everything online, chats and everything. So people are debating, how does the winners of the UEFA Champions League affect Ballon d'Or rankings? Favorites by some people, Lamine, he's out. Favorites by some people, Ousmane Dembele, he's playing if he wins. Yeah. Now, Lautaro Martinez hasn't been his best, but he's a talisman for Inter Milan. How, Taka, I shoot it to you. How does this game decide the Ballon d'Or rankings? Do you think it has that much of an impact? Or yeah, people are calling numbers. I'm not a numbers guy. I like eye test. I want to hear what you want to say.
Yeah, I think post Ronaldo Messi is going back to MVP, right? I think Rodri winning it last year showed that okay, people that what has to reevaluate Ballon d'Or conversations, right?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, this is an audition for Lautaro. Even Vitinha too can make a very good shout, right? If Rodri can win it, Vitinha can make a really good show, put a masterclass and put his heart in the ring.
Yeah.
Right. Donnarumma too can put a shout. How about we bring keepers back into the game? Buffon, right? Bring keepers back to the game. So a lot can happen. Unfortunately for Vitinha, I don't think PSG is in the FIFA World Cup. So FIFA World Cup is another shout this summer to add more substance to the FIFA World Cup. So Lautaro can score. So a top scorer in Champions League, wins the Champions League, and then go very far. Maybe might win the FIFA World Cup. Now he's a really good Ballon d'Or winner. But I'm looking at Lautaro. That's a big shout for this final. I think if he comes well, wins the Champions League, scores, lives the Champions League, I think it's a big shout to win a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, but Ajay, before you come in, I want to shoot it back to you because you made mention of just the guys playing for Inter Milan. Now, no, you've made mention of both teams, right? But now only the other guys, the guys at home, the Lamine Yamal, the Rafinhas, who are contestants. So because people are talking, you need to win trophies. Right now, back in the days, Ronaldinho didn't win a Champions League to win Ballon d'Or. Neither was Pavel Nedved, Michael Owen, 2001. These guys didn't win it. But people are saying, no, if you win it this time, you have to win it. You need to win the league. You need to win. So what does this mean for Rafinha and Lamine?
I think you need a summer. You need a summer competition to add to your league season. Like,
Okay.
yeah, you need a summer competition. Rafinha had an amazing. I rank Rafinha ahead of Lamar in my opinion. Rafinha have transformed that team, right? The attack. I don't think Lamar is calling the headshots and Jonas, but Rafinha is the real MVP in that team for Barcelona for me anyway going forward. But these guys are not in the summer. They're not in that FIFA World Cup.
They
That
should
is a
go.
major blow to them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a major blow to the Barcelona stars, right? So if we're looking at if even Mbappe too, like Mbappe is not completely out of the water, right? Mbappe can win that. Real Madrid can win that World Cup and then have a strong start of the season the season that comes up the following season, and
Yeah.
then Mbappe is back in the shout. So, in my opinion, Mohamed Salah, not really. Like, it could be in the shout, but he had to make this final to really be contended for Ballon d'Or. Rafinha, Lamar, not really. No. Yes, no. They had a great Spain campaign. Rodri won it. Barcelona was doing so well this season in La Liga. Madrid has come up short this season because they started slow. So I don't see any of those stars winning it for sure this year, in my opinion.
Yeah. Ajab, it's up for you. Grab it.
Yes, no, Taka, actually, PSG is participating in the FIFA Club World
Club
Cup, so
World Cup. Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
a
Okay,
chance.
but no Barcelona,
Not
right?
Barcelona, yeah,
Oh,
Yes.
PSG.
Okay.
no Barcelona, but PSG. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
when we're
yes,
talking
yes, PSG.
about, I don't like me too. I'm not a man of numbers. If I have to choose the best player for me at PSG, I will go for Vitinha. But
Yeah,
most people will talk about Ousmane Dembele saying he has scored this amount of
Yeah.
goals, this amount of assists this season.
yeah,
And football, to me, football is more than goals and assists, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if I had to choose a player, just like Barca, if I had to choose a player, I would choose Pedri over Rafinha and Lamine Yamal. But Lamine Yamal has been spectacular, and Rafinha has been putting in the goals and also creating some exceptional moments for the club, even in the absence of Pedri and Lamine Yamal. When they were absent, he stood up and did a lot for the team. But Ballon d'Or wise, you said something. The way we used to look at Ballon d'Or wasn't based on the amount of goals or assists you scored, right? It was against of your general performance because assists and goals don't paint the full picture.
Each of
You
the
could
team. Yeah.
create 19 chances in a game and end up having just one assist.
Yeah.
You could provide 30 chances in a competition, but you end up having 5 assists.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't punish you if those people up front are not converting your chances and say you don't have enough assists. You should not be punished for those not converting the chances you've been providing to them and saying you don't have enough assists or enough goals. So that's how I look at it. I look more at key chances created than assists, right? Because we only call it an assist if the person who the final pass scores the goal, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it will be tough for Vitinha. Vitinha hasn't had he's had an exceptional season, but it's just been like a one-off thing this season, right?
Yeah.
He's not been someone which we saw before, like
Yeah.
there's a prospect in him. So
Yes.
that may deviate a little bit. Lamine Yamal too is another person who's been exceptional. Even if Barcelona made it to the finals, his age factor may give it to someone else because it will be like maybe this guy still has time. He has a few Ballon d'Ors to win in the because there's actually no competition with Yamal when you look at his age group and all that. So it's leaning when I was looking at my Ballon d'Or nominees or prospects for the 2024-25 season.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that we had the FIFA Club World Cup coming up. And like Taka said, that's going to be a huge factor. If we have PSG, Real Madrid, Mbappe is not out of it. And like you said also, Balak, I don't think your team winning a competition should be the major factor for you winning an individual trophy.
Yeah.
Individual trophy should decide if we have two players who are almost at the same level. Then I might say, okay, A won this trophy, so we should give him. But if we have players who have performed way better than those who are winning trophies, they shouldn't give it to them because they won a trophy. People come back and say, Caballero was supposed to win the Ballon d'Or because he won the Euro, he won the Champions League.
Yeah.
Rodri won it not because he won the Euro, because he was the best player at the Euro. So Ballon d'Or is an individual trophy that is given based on your individual performances. Your club performance is an addition to it. It's not the main requirement.
Yeah.
I want you to enlighten more on this. So the reason I'm making this is because at the end of the day, when you make a final competition, you have more games to showcase your talent.
Yes.
Now let's just say Paris Saint-Germain goes and blows Inter away, and Ousmane Dembele absolutely puts on a classic.
He's going to win it because he's been doing well all through the season. It's not like he only performed well in the finals. Yeah.
So because they say we notice the real stars when the lights shine brightest, and match May 31st, it's two teams. Everybody's watching that game. So when you put on a classic, it takes your numbers up. That's what I'm asking. This game, if this either team were to win and their stars put on a show, will it help them?
Dembele. You'll be Dembele. And that's the advantage PSG has over Barcelona. Barcelona, you have two people like Lamine Yamal and Rafinha to choose among.
Yeah.
But for PSG right now, the main person who is like a favorite to win the Ballon d'Or is Ousmane Dembele. So if PSG wins this Champions League and Ousmane Dembele has a good game, he doesn't need an exceptional game, just a good game. He'll
Yeah.
be favorite to win the Ballon d'Or. Inter Milan, Lautaro has been shaky. You know, he's been injured all season and the league he's not performed well. Remember, this guy just won the best player in the French League One. And then he was joint top scorer to Ousmane Dembele.
Okay.
And then the Champions League, he's had a good Champions League too. So winning, if PSG winning that is going to give him an edge because he doesn't need something exceptional. But now, the Club World Cup, if he flops at the Club World Cup now, it might impact it. So I think maybe the Club World Cup will be the final deciding factor for for whoever wins the Ballon d'Or. But let's not ignore the Champions League. The Champions League final also has a huge role to play in the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, do you have something to throw on that before we go forward?
No, it just I understand when you and Ajab always talk about, it's not all about goals, but we have to also, I'm a big fan of MVPs, right?
Yeah.
Dembele has been, Vitana is doing well, but Vitana is not doing it alone. I think there's this other guy, what's his name? Neves, and the other one that scored.
Fabio Ruiz.
Fabian Ruiz.
That guy is good. That guy, the way he plays actually gives Vitinha the time and the space to do his thing, right? I think if you remove one of those two guys, would Vitinha have the same impact? But Dembele has been firing for PSG. Like without him, like yes, the edge past Arsenal, but would they be there without Dembele? Like you mentioned about Pedri and Rafinha. I rate Rafinha. I think Rafinha has done more for the new era of Barcelona than Pedri. Pedri is awesome, neat, and but he has been injured too. He has been in and out of the team sometimes. But anyway, yes, I look at the game round, but I also look at the people that win the games, like the people that actually win games for the teams.
Taka, let me tell you, it's not like we don't value the goals and the numbers, but we're not looking people who stand in the box and kick and score tappings, right? People score tappings, kick penalties, then the numbers are high, and then the goals assist. We're talking like for Rafinha, I'm a fan. I've seen the way he's pressing, his work ethic, the contributions and everything. His all-round game is good. Now the goals and the assists are add-ons. But some people just have good numbers. I don't want to call some Chelsea fans might get mad at me, but some people just have like the numbers without substance. On big, and I also want players that can score on big games. That's why DJ Drogba was one of my best strikers ever. He could score 5 goals, but those 5 goals will win you 15 points. Instead of scoring 5 goals in the small games. So come out in a game like when we need you, crunch games and put on a show.
No, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree for sure.
Okay, now, So, we've spoken about the Champions League final. So we can't go without talking about Mbappe's departure to Madrid. How has it helped Paris Saint-Germain grow as a team, as a club, finances, football, anything?
I can go first. I think, to be honest, I think Mbappe leaving PSG unlocked them. I think he unlocked PSG. I think it's not a shame. Mbappe is a top talent, man. Mbappe is a great talent, but everything going through one dude limits the sauce, man. Limits the sauce, and since he announced he was leaving, since he left, the ball has been moving quicker. Dembele is now demands. It's not killing it, right? So this is the most team PSG have ever had. Like this, about team. They have spent millions and almost billions of dollars. Galacticos have brought in Neymar, brought in Messi. This is the most team I've seen PSG ever build. And you gotta give credit to Enrique and the board for really backing his vision, right? So I think this is the best thing that PSG had done. Letting Mbappe go and building a proper team for that club.
Yeah.
Yeah, two things. First, like Taka said, relying on one person, it's very bad for your team because if it's a bad day, it ruins the team. PSG were so reliant on Mbappe, and when Luis Enrique came, I think maybe he had figured out that we could do without Mbappe. Many people didn't see it coming, but some people, when Mbappe announced he was leaving PSG, some people were so disappointed. You had even PSG fans or French media
Yeah.
cursing Mbappe, and when after the first like 5, 6 games of the season in Spain. I listened to some French pundits or journalists saying that Bakola is a better player to Mbappe and all that. They were so pissed off. They didn't want to see Mbappe do anything good. But if you ask me, like Takas, the first thing is that he unlocked PSG, and secondly, Mbappe he had to leave PSG. He needs to leave his comfort zone. He was so comfortable at PSG that most people thought Mbappe leaving PSG would never do anything good. And if you ask some people now, they will think Mbappe had a bad season. Mbappe had a fantastic season in Spain. Just because Real Madrid didn't win the league or the Champions League, people forgetting about what Mbappe did this season. He started the season, he wasn't good, but he ended up with 29 goals as a league top scorer, which is very good for someone his first season. And technically, he was playing out of position. Let's say technically, because he's an attacker, he's not an outright striker, he's an attacker. He played as a striker, and he was still able to score 29 goals. So I think he had a fantastic season, even though trophies, like they say, trophies is what is most important now. But sometimes individually, he had a good season. But as a team, Real Madrid didn't have a good season. But I thought for two reasons, he unlocked PSG, and also Mbappe had to leave his comfort zone. That's why we know Mbappe playing at Real Madrid and putting in those numbers shows that Mbappe is not a one-team player, or he could exceed outside. Let me put it, he could exceed outside his comfort zone.
Yeah.
So in all you said is it was a good divorce for both of them.
Yeah, that's the right word. That's the right phrase. A good divorce for both of them.
A good divorce for both of them.
Parties. Yeah,
You said
good divorce
all
for
of
both
them.
parties.
Yeah. So now, just in case, I'm putting it out there hypothetically, just in case Paris Saint-Germain were to lose again for the second time, where do they go? They usually say third time lucky. So should they wait for the third time, or where do they move from here? Because Enrique has done a lot.
Yeah.
Both teams have lost the finals in the last 5 years. So everybody needs this final. Inter Milan needs this, as well as PSG need to be crowned champions of Europe for the first time in the club's history. Where do they move from? Go from here in case they don't win?
Honestly, no panic. I think this PSG is different. This is no longer the Galactico area vibes anymore. It's all about youth, structure, energy. If they fall short, it's not a flop, just a plot twist. They have a core. Enrique has a very clear vision. This is the way he wants to play. I think these kids will learn and they'll grow. You know what I mean? I think one thing they must do if they fall short on next week, 31st, is they need to buy a killer striker, a natural killer striker. Go to Sporting Lisbon, Gyökeres, pay the money, bring that guy into the squad. They need a killer striker. Once they add that, and then maybe add a bit more grit in the midfield. Because without Luis, I feel like if Luis has a long-term injury, they need a Luis in there to balance the creativity and flair of Neves and Vitinha. So they need to add somebody in there just to add it. But I think losing the final will not be the end for PSG. It's just the spark that they will need to just go and get that final one or two players.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes,
we're listening.
Yeah.
Oh, you listen to me? Yeah. I just think Enrique is intentionally playing without a striker. I don't think if he wants to go for a striker, he's going to go for a killer striker. I think he's intentionally want to play with the ghost striker, with Dembele, someone who is very mobile around.
Yeah,
I think that's right, because Gonzalo Ramos is not a bad striker. If you give him the chance, if you give him the games to play, I think he's going to put in the numbers. And he's young too, So I don't think so. I just think he's intentionally playing with that system. The way he plays, he wants everybody to be mobile. He doesn't want a player to stick within the 18-meter zone of the opponent and then lack supply or something like that. But one of the things he did, which was really good, was I've never succeeded in pronouncing the name well. The Georgian guy who came in mid-season from Napoli,
Kawashika.
Kawashika or
What is signing?
I don't know, Karashika or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think that is the buy of the season.
Yeah, that was like the icing on the cake.
That was the icing, the icing on the cake, because you could notice PSG was struggling until that guy came.
Yeah.
Once he came, everything clicked.
Yeah.
Wow. Everything clicked. But like Taka also said, Enrique has a clear vision for PSG. PSG losing these finals even at 4-0 I don't think it's going to mean anything for PSG, because besides Marquinhos,
Yeah.
everyone else is 25 and under.
Yep.
Besides Marquinhos.
Yeah.
So it shows that they still have at least 3, 4, 5 seasons of maybe not playing the finals every season, but of torment in Euro football. Each time you play PSG, even if you beat them, you go back home and say we played against a team, you know.
Yeah.
But Man U, Inter Milan, the starting 11, they have about 6 players who are over 32. 30, who are over 32. So it means that team is aging. They have to start bringing replacement for the Acherbis and the Mkhitaryan and the rest. You have Bastoni, who is still young and has been exceptional. That's another person which, if I had to give the defender a Ballon d'Or this season, I'm going to give it to Bastoni.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's been exceptional this season.
Yeah, you know, typical Italian teams, we don't go for youth that much.
Yeah, that's true. It's a culture.
Yeah, so the 32 years it's not frightening.
Yeah.
It's not frightening. We don't do the 17-year-olds.
Yeah, Achebi joined Inter at 34, 35.
Yes.
That's when they signed him. You know, it's normal to them, yeah.
Achebi made his debut with AC Milan and then I think had cancer problems.
Yes,
Then came back. So at 37 or 38, he is balling.
Yeah, and then I think he had his first selection for the national team. I think he was like 33 or 34 too. 33 when he got his first selection while at Lazio. Yeah, so PSG losing the finals to me is not going to be any issue because they've proven themselves that they have time. This is the first last season. Enrique used last season to try to know where he needs to do some tweaking and all that.
Yeah.
Mind you, they still made it to the semifinals. So it's not like they were, and then this season that he came in having a dodgy first round of the Champions League, and then once they beat Brest, the way they handled Liverpool, I knew there was something cooking. Yeah, especially the game at Anfield. It shows that there was something cooking.
Yeah. The last time Inter Milan won the Champions League was 2010.
Yep.
By then was a great man, Jose Mourinho. They won a treble. Samuel Eto'o, Walter Samuel, Marco Materazzi. You can name them. Was it Pandev, Chivu, all the Samuel, Lucio, all these guys. Milito. That team was stacked.
Schneider.
Thank you.
Cambiaso, Thiago Motta, Stankovic, Sule Montari,
Javier Zanetti,
Christian Chivu.
Yeah. So can Inter Milan repeat it again on May the 31st in Allianz?
Scoring 7 goals against Barcelona, eliminating Barcelona. If Barcelona scores you 6 goals and you eliminate them, then you have what it takes to win the finals, man. Yeah.
We have about 2 minutes to round up. Yeah, Taka, what do you have for the fans? What are you hoping for? Any last words before we close this episode of Abaka Talk Sports?
No, I'm just Team Inter. You know, Team Inter is trying to finish the mission they started last year. You know, they're trying to end their story. PSG is trying to rewrite their story. You know, this is a final that it's just about trophies, about validation. You know, PSG trying to write their story, Inter trying to end its own story for Champions League. Me, I want chaos. I want goals. I want 4-4 penalties. You know, let the football gods entertain us. Like exciting end to end.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm very excited for the game.
Yeah. Ajab, anything for the fans before we go? Like
we always say, football is about results, but me, I want to be entertained. Before us having teams that were so loyal to football, is an entertainment sport. I want to be entertained. Even if it ends 1-0 or 0-0 goes to penalties, I want to watch end-to-end football. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Fellow viewers, you all know the rendezvous. May 31st, Allianz Arena. Inter Milan versus Paris Saint-Germain. I can't bet. Let the best man win. If you're watching Abaka Talk Sports right now, please click that subscribe button for more content is coming your way. We're going to do English Premier League preview or review in the coming weeks. So click the subscribe button and stay tuned because more content will be coming. See you next time.